He had honey, lots of honey in his barn. And he was a very quiet man.
Yeah, very quiet.
Yeah, and we were sitting in his house, and of course, they got pretty drunk that night. You know, they were drinking and having a good old time. But he had a little lake outside of his house. And near the lake's edge was a little tin can. And from his kitchen window, he opened up the kitchen window and he had a little BB gun, a little pellet gun. And he said, see if you can hit that can over there. I was 13, 14 years old. So I put that gun up and boom, I hit it and hit the can. And Uli went crazy. He says, oh my God, no one's ever hit that can. As long as that can's been out there, no one's ever hit it. And then at one point, my father says, so Uli, he really likes you, and I think you want to stay with Uli for a while. I just go on with this.
He was quiet.
What was Ron's father like?
Who?
His father.
Handsome.
Handsome.
Yeah.
Quiet. Personality.
Yeah, personality.
He is a very nice guy. But Ole was quite, he was not that. But your dad could mix well.
Yeah.
Sociable.
Sociable.
Yeah. How old was he then? How old?
He was 22.
Only 22.
Yeah.
He was 18 that time.
And you are the continuation of
I know.
his life. You right now.
The legacy now.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Well, this is awfully special.
But all we did was just sleeping like this.
So, no connection?
What do you do in the evening?
In the evening it's already too dark and then
No singing?
no. I don't remember.
Maybe he's singing on the other side.
He always used to sing. I mean, I grew up with him singing. In fact, when I'm in my shop working now, I found some old tapes of my mother's songs, Norwegian songs. And then all of a sudden I'll hear this song and I'll go, oh my God, I remember that one. And my father used to sing that one in Norwegian. But he knew all the songs. He knew Bing Crosby and Bing Crosby.
Bing. Oh. That's where my name was taken.
And he knew all the songs, and but he even knew the songs that were written for the English language that were translated into Norwegian with their own Norwegian words. There's one by a famous what's it? Nat King Cole.
Oh, Nat King Cole.
Nat King Cole sang a song called what's the name of it? Answer Me, and it just has a nice melody, and then I remember my father singing this song before I had ever heard by Nat King Cole. My father sang the song in Norwegian, and it's a totally different words, and a whole different word meaning to the song. And then when I finally heard Nat King Cole's version, I'm going, oh my God, that's the song my father sang in Norwegian.
Do you sing also?
Yeah,
he's a singer.
I love music.
Sample.
Wow.
Yeah.
Norwegian song? I was thinking, Ma, when you were like with his dad and your age was, you're 18 and 21. So there no
Hanky panky.
You know, hanky, like what do you call it? There's like
hide.
Yeah.
Huh?
Those were the days.
No one is thinking of like falling in love with each other.
How did your dad meet your mom after that? That's the story.
Well, the Norwegian ships would come into Brooklyn, New York, and there was a section in Brooklyn of all Norwegian.
Yes.
And being my mother was of Norwegian descent, and she was living there with her mother, because my grandfather, my mother's father, went back to Norway and left his wife and children in New York, never to return. So my my grandmother was also a singer on my mother's side.
So maybe your dad sang that, but you don't.
Thank you.
Remember
But
time.
so my father met my mother in Brooklyn. New
Yeah.
York.
After the war.
After the war, yeah.
He died.
He had cancer. Colon cancer.
Your dad?
Yeah. He was only 57.
Oh.
And you were, when he died, you were...
I was 20, 28, something like that. I was young.
You were still young.
How many brothers and sisters?
I have two sisters. One older and one younger.
It'll be 30 years in April. 82.
But talk about hanky-panky bang.
Yeah.
Before my older sister, the firstborn, before she was born, my father went back out to sea.
Thank you.
And he went to China.
Very delicious.
Oh.
And he was in China for, I think, a year.
Oh, really?
And came back. And then we found out that something happened in China. And I don't know if the lady was Chinese or not, but there was my father had an affair with someone and had a son.
Oh.
You just found that out.
I just found that out.
Oh.
And
You have an uncle in China?
so I may have a half brother somewhere, but I just
Yeah.
found out about this just recently. So
I thought you said she was Russian for a second.
yeah, they only knew her as the White Russian, whatever that meant. And she lived in Texas, or so they thought. I don't know. You know, there's a lot of secrets and.
His sister just told him that. See, his mom just died in May.
How many are you in the family?
Yeah. It's delicious.
Your two
The cake is good.
Yeah.
sisters, and you're the only boy.
Yeah.
It's not so sweet, right? Okay.
No, this is great.
Ma, you tell the story of your Japanese boss that has a crush on you.
He said,
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
when the Japanese
Yeah,
already
it-
were a little bit, duty time was already a little bit normal, no? The Japanese were already controlling.
Mm-hmm.
I thought I had to work because I could not survive.
Right.
You have to survive.
Right.
I work also with the to the Americans. You know, I work with the Japanese because I had to survive. I said, it's okay, Marina. It's okay. When the Japanese was in love with me, he said, Marina, I'm in love with you, but I cannot love you because I have a wife in Japan. Oh, thank you.
Thank you.
That you remember your wife? He was my boss. I love you very much, but I cannot love you. And the way they pronounce love, rob. I rob you very much.
Rob. No, don't rob me. I don't have money.
Then I said, oh, thank God, you could be versus wife.
Funny.
I have photos of the Japanese and I have also photographs of the Americans, all the Americans I worked with, and
Because my mom loves collecting signatures of the Japanese, any foreign people. Not foreigner.
They are all my, when the Americans came, I applied. I said, I speak Spanish. Oh, you know Spanish? Come tomorrow. I worked with 4 years. I worked with the Americans. And I have all their signatures too.
Oh, nice.
With the Americans I work with.
And she keeps it for a very long time. Like,
Just like the
it's a treasure.
signatures you've
Like,
She sent me those two pieces of
yeah,
paper.
that's what I.
And when I saw that signature, this lady's for real, because that's my father's signature.
See, that's why.
I will not know their names if they didn't write.
Right.
Ole, Martin, Thorgrimsen.
Yeah.
So, is it the same signature? You have your dad's signature before that matches with the one that
Oh
my
yeah,
mom
I know my father's signature because I'll take one of those things.
Oh.
Thank you.
Yeah.
The Norwegians and somewhat the Danes and somewhat the Swedes. Especially when that age group were going to school, they all learned a certain script. They all learned a certain script. And so you can always tell, especially people from that age and era, when I see that signature of that person, I know that that person is a Scandinavian. Because they all have a very distinct script.
Yeah,
And just a very attractive way of writing. Not so much today. Anything goes today. But then, it was by the book. And my father was very smart world-wise. You know, when I was going to school and I had to study the United States and capitals, he knew every state, every capital of every country around the world.
Wow.
They just learn different. They just learn, so much differently.
Very nice.
Yeah, when I saw that signature, I said, "This is it." And that it was Lake Volsgata, 18, and I lived in that house when I did live in Norway. So it was the real thing.
Oh, the address.
What's
The address.
the birthday of your dad?
October 13th, 1919.
1919. Yours 1916.
Well, you can have that.
July 1916.
July 20.
That's delicious cake.
Yeah.
I may take a little sliver.
Yeah. You share it with them, with your family.
I may take a little.
Or you
sliver.
can get it all.
Yep.
It's not sweet. Get it all.
Yeah, that's
It's not
But
sweet.
I felt better because when we were both crying, I was crying with your dad. When
he left.
Oh, we are going to leave you. So we were both crying.
Little did you know, the next you would see his son in 40 years.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Maybe that's what really I want me to see him
Meant
so
to be. Yeah.
and be.
I think there's something with that. I don't know, something divine.
I don't know how.
I think so.
I don't know how it came to my mind. Like we were talking about wars, me and my mom, and then suddenly she said those people that she met before. Okay, let's try. Let's Google. So that's how it all started.
Isn't that amazing?
I gave him the
That Google.
try this.
I mean, you can find out anything. It's a wonderful tool.
Yeah.
I love the whole internet thing. Like I said, 10 years ago when I first got a computer, and I typed in my father's name, and his name came up on a site. So I clicked on it, and I have to send you this information too if you're interested, is a lady by the name of Siri, or not Siri, starts with an S. Anyway, she developed a website because her father was a Norwegian captain on a boat. And she made a website called War Sailors, warsailors.com. And she has categorized all the merchant marine fleet during World War II, and wrote about all the ships that were out in the world during the war and what happened to them.
Wow.
So all of a sudden I see this thing on the Ravnaas, the ship my father was on.
Yeah.
And then sure enough, there's a story in it. It's a picture of the ship. No pictures of him, but a picture of the crew in San Francisco after the war when they were rescued. They all came to San Francisco.
Oh.
And so here's the whole crew except for Uli, Tora, Arnie, and my father, because they were, God knows where they were, somewhere else in the world. But so there's all these pictures, and so I wrote to this lady and said, I cannot believe that I found this story about my father on the site, and my little blurb is still on there. And she put me in touch with another son of one of the sailors in Norway, and we kind of wrote back and forth, and we lost contact. But at that time, there was one crew member still alive in Norway, and he was 82, and I think or 84. I think he's gone now. So I think there's no crew alive anymore.
So what came into your mind when the very first time you learned about my mom's story?
Oh,
the very first.
I found it so hard to believe.
Yeah.
I mean, how would she find me? And then, of course, we, conversed.
His
and then,
his youngest sister still doesn't believe it.
No, oh, really?
4 years ago, of course, my mother was alive.
Oh.
I told my mother. She goes,
that's what I'm
I don't know
thinking,
this, I don't know this woman.
They might think that.
Maybe she's a phony. Maybe because I don't know who she is. And my sister, and I didn't learn this until after my mother passed away. My older sister told me. She goes, remember when you told Mom and Karen is my younger sister. Remember when you told them about Marina? I says, yeah. She goes, both of them didn't believe it.
Yeah. Nobody will believe because
You will go back and show
That's
the
what I was
picture.
thinking also. They might think that it's only for these people that came out from nowhere and said it.
And then from the computer.
And then I told my mom, that signature might be the key.
Yeah.
Because that's why it holds like if it really matches the paper is old.
Absolutely.
It's yellow.
And the beauty of it is that not on my father's you could see there was a little number, but on Uli's is the date.
Yeah, the date.
I think it's 43.
Your dad, the
43.
last number was ripped off.
Yeah,
October, wasn't it?
The day
What was March, wasn't it? Or was it February? No, it's March.
No,
it's
March around your birthday.
27th.
March, it's March 27th.
1943.
1943.
Wow. And it's in the book too.
Yeah, it's there.
That's the date that was missing.
Oh, really?
They had.
Now
I
it's
mean,
already.
Wait till you read this book.
See,
Read this
all
book to
these
your
dates.
mother. There's so much
the
good
date
here is
information.
April
This is as close
to 43.
as I'll ever get
So in March.
to what happened to my
So,
father.
You got
Because he didn't
together
tell the
in
story.
March.
But Mr. Bell tells
Late
the story
February
because my father
and
was
early
involved with these
March.
people.
Early March.
And
Early, and then
it's unbelievable.
You got to read this, Marina.
Oh, yeah.
And so there's another book I have to find.
So it's March.
I did find.
It's March, no, when he went.
Oh no, you're kidding.
Nobody's gonna.
Nobody's gonna eat that.
I found another book. How many years ago? The Chapman's book. So one of the Silliman University people, the Chapmans, Ethel,
You're going to school.
and I forgot her name or his name, but he wrote a book called Escape to the Hills.
No, Sacred Heart.
And I was hoping that there would be some stuff about my father in his book, but there was just one line, and it just said the Norwegian sailors, and that's all it really said about them. And then just 2 months ago, I Googled, the bells. Up comes this book.
I was in the university.
God, this is too
So you were really before my mom, before you learned about my mom's story. So you were really working on the story of your dad, long time ago.
No,
Not even.
getting that letter from
It
Marina
gave you an idea.
would just,
I gave you
it's
an
like,
idea.
wait a minute,
Yeah.
there's more to this story than
Okay. So that's
I'll ever know.
Oh.
You
Yeah,
know what I
because
mean?
what he's saying is that he only hears what his dad wants to tell, telling.
Because
Anything that's beyond that,
Yeah.
like living in a tree or whatever,
Who
he
would
didn't
know?
mention
Who would
anything.
know the story?
Yeah.
The same thing with my mom.
and we were only together.
You were telling him what your dad told
Yeah.
her,
Yeah.
what your dad told you that she didn't know.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
now you're
Because
connecting.
in the place we were hiding, we were only together. We did not have contact with other people. So what was happening, we only
Right, just
knew
for
just for us
Right.
until the time when we left.
And of course, just recently, it's been 4 years since you contacted me. At the time, I was building tree houses, and I was very busy and doing things.
Three houses.
And
House?
Three houses.
yeah,
And your dad lived in a tree.
Yeah.
Coincidence.
You have the picture of your tree house.
Oh yeah,
Wow.
yeah. I could send you pictures.
Oh really? Huh? So
You did that because of the
he wants
story
he
of
likes
your dad?
tree house.
No, he was
No.
just doing it.
Really doing
He
it.
Yeah.
built the tree house.
He has no idea of,
What are you gonna
about
do? And
Because
Dad
he's not
living
never
in a
told
tree
me.
because
I told him anything.
yeah,
Yeah,
he has.
there's a lot of cosmic
So-
connection here.
that tree, the tree that saved us.
Yeah.
A tree house saved us.
Right.
Right.
Um,
Crazy.
imagine
Just
when
recently,
sometimes we were walking, there were mountains. She would just throw one fruit in
some
the
friends
head.
of mine and I went to Seattle. There was a antique bookshop. And the lady who was going over with us, it was a friend of mine and his girlfriend. And she had some books that she had repaired for one of the vendors. And the vendor was a collector of World War II books. And so when we got over there, my friend introduced me to the dealer, and I bought a book from him. But on the way there, I told him the story about Marina, my father, and they said, "You haven't gone down to see Marina yet?" I says, "No." No, I haven't. 4 years later. They says, "You better make it a point to go down and see Marina." I says, "Okay." So I got home, and now I'm fired up. I've got to do something. I says, "Rhonda, I got to call Marina." So I call Marina, phone disconnected. This phone has been disconnected.
Oh yeah.
So I'm going,
Yeah,
no, I missed my chance. Kicked me in the butt, and, I lost my chance. So I get on the internet, I get on the phone. We don't know. There's no Marina. I try to find relatives. There was a Villanueva. There was all these names that were associated with it. And so I'm calling these numbers. No, we don't know this person. No. So I called the operator, and no, I paid $1.95 for people finders. No, we can't find this person. So Rhonda says, well, let me write to her. I have her address. And then all of a sudden she calls us and leaves a message on the phone. And
The address. That's the one. That's the key. The address.
Okay.
Good. That
So
we're still living there.
It's really coincidence because I was just looking at my album. Try to contact this name.
Well, actually, I spoke with.
You already spoke. Okay.
Yeah, I just started talking to Bing here just recently. He never got on the phone. I was talking to Marina. And
Phone shy.
It's lacking of English.
Dad said, "Oh, you better go and take it."
I know. And now, my mother just passed away in May, and she could have known about the book. She could have read the story and understood it more. But my older sister is really interested. My younger sister, she doesn't care about history and even family history. But my older sister does, because she wants to pass it on to her children too. So, but we have to formulate this story and get it in perspective for my daughter, so she can pass it on but just to make a conclusion of all that happened. Because any people I tell the story to.
Oh yeah.
Have a movie.
Yeah, we need to have a good director.
Do you have connections with Spielberg?
Yeah.
Be interested in this.
Yeah, that's a good story, That's
You will only see the place. You will see the waterfall still there. Because
I would
it's
love to
very-
go back there.
Then I don't know if the walls are still there. We just closed we just put walls so we could take a bath with the private thing. And there is strong waterfalls.
I told my mom the tree may not be there anymore because of the illegal loggers.
I would love to take a trip over there and just actually see the place.
Yeah. Yeah, that's
Here we was